Citizens of the reefing world, this podcast is designed specifically to be discussions about reef keeping stuff that you get like after an event or after a trade show when everyone's just hanging out. Maybe they're drunk, maybe they're not, but you're just hanging out and the blinders are off and you're just talking real talk. So that's what this is about. There might be language here. It might be egregious. It might not be egregious. But if you don't like language, how are you listening to this? Be careful. If you have little kids, make sure they're closer and put their headphones in for this podcast. My name is Richard.
My name is Ben Johnson.
And this is the Reef Beef Podcast. Today, let me look at my list. We are going to talk about a beef. We're going to talk about chasing down epidemics in your tank when you're first starting out. We're going to talk about a dying fish that I have and a gig I'm doing, and about changes coming up to the Ross household. This episode is sponsored by saltwateraquarium.com.
Powered by PolypLab.
And sponsored by Champion Lighting and Supply. This is
Reef Beef!
Hey, Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Richard?
I'm doing good. It's coming into Halloween, and that makes me very excited.
That's sort of my favorite time. We have that in common.
Too.
You know that. You get pretty crazy with it.
Yeah, it's my wife's high holiday.
Yep.
Look, she had me trying on costumes today.
Mummy.
We're doing mummies. She likes to be scary. She wants to scare the shit out of little kids.
Man,
and big kids.
harkens back to that older episode I had where when you touch a mummy and they crumble. So I just want you to be careful. Don't let anybody touch you.
Yeah, okay. All right. I think I'm going to be kind of emo-teppy.
Yeah.
So, I want my wife to be a Noxalamoon from those movies. Yeah. She's like, that's not a scary costume. I was like, that's a costume for me, not for anyone else. Oh,
it's on the up and up.
How's your reefing world? Because that's what this show's supposed to be about.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Last week, something funny happened. So I get contacted all the time with people requesting service. Now this one was just a freshwater, but it was
just a freshwater.
Well, no, I hate to be rude, but it was like a hunk of junk 30-gallon aquarium. Now I will go clean those, but I am on the high side for that. You know.
Yeah.
It also depends whether they're close or not to existing clients. I'm not going to run out far away to do something like that. But, so this person told me, which people don't normally say this, but they said they started the conversation with, I already got a couple quotes that were pretty good and just wondering where you were at. Now, I am generally on the expensive side, so I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what pretty good means.
Yeah.
So when someone else tells me pretty good, that means pretty cheap. And, so I'm like, that's not going to be me, but so then you have to say that professionally, so it's funny. It sucks. Some things you just don't really pay attention to. So I didn't really touch it for like a day. And then they sent me a message back and said, didn't hear from you yet, and I was thinking that's because I don't care. But they're like, didn't hear from you yet. So I figured like, hey, I always feel like, all responses are worth at least a second of me saying yay or nay. So you're not on the hook.
Sure.
I do like to treat people like the way I want to be treated. So I don't like when I'm left hanging. So I'll respond to most things. But so I told them, I said, look, I'm going to be on the high side of this. So I'm not sure where I'm going to fit in with that. Just trying to say like, hey, this is, go with your things you found. So I didn't hear back from this person for a day. And then they got back to me and said, hey, wondering if you'd like to buy all this stuff. If you come this evening, like I'll give you a heavy discount. And I was just like, me thinking about this for more than 1 second just felt like me just absolutely wasting my time. And I just said, no, thank you. And they left me alone. But I was like, hey, can you clean? It was so imperative it get cleaned. And then the next day they're like, do you want to buy it? And I was like, that's literally stuff that you find on the curb. If on the off chance that person is watching this, which I promise you they are not, sorry.
I think that's probably Texas. That kind of stuff doesn't happen anywhere else. No, that's a total lie. It happens everywhere. See, you know, when we talk in the disclaimer about what this show's about, it's like that kind of story because we don't really, you don't wish that person any ill will. You don't really think that person is stupid. You don't, you're just, you know, borders are down. What does even that mean? That doesn't mean
I don't know.
What do I mean?
Build the wall. Build the
Walls
wall.
are down. Walls are down. And you're just saying stuff, and you know, because it's interesting and funny and weird, and it. So yeah,
It's weird.
We don't
think
really
it's weird.
think people are stupid when we tell stupid people stories.
Yeah, but why have me clean something and then the next day you're like, here, take it.
Take it. Yeah, that is pretty weird.
Yeah.
That is totally strange.
What about you in your reefing world?
Well, there's a bunch going on. We'll do this. I'll show you a video, and then we'll do a beef, and we'll talk about other stuff going on in my house. But what's going on here now is I have those Caloplesiops. Well, I have one now. And I've had
and I'm gonna look like a noob, but Caloplesiops is cuttlefish?
Marine beta. Sorry. Marine
God,
beta.
Okay.
And I've had, I had a pair of them for like 5 years.
Really?
And then I've had this one for like 10 years. Right? And I'll show you, let me show you this video.
I'm guessing you don't like little decorative shrimp.
Not little ones. And I'm not sure if he's been eating over the years any of my like cleaner shrimp or anything like that. But they're such a cool fish. But I'll show you, this is what I came to this morning.
Oh, they're not breeding, are they?
No, it's dying.
Well, that's different. That's the other side of the coin from breeding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like leprosy.
Yeah, let me rewind the video here.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so I've been seeing him laying around for a couple of months, and it's like sometimes they do that. But, you can see the labored breathing. You can see his pectoral fin is shredded. You can see his dorsal fin is kind of shredded. You can see his tail is kind of shredded.
I mean, did someone whoop his butt, or is that literally just like the equivalent of like a 95-year-old person?
That's what it is. I'm sure something's picking on him, or he's being tossed around by the rocks.
Man, be kind to your elders.
It's hard to tell what's going on.
But wait, is that a he or a she?
Don't know.
So then where's its mate?
Oh, the mate, I lost the mate a long time ago.
Ah, okay. He's just doing what nature calls of him.
Yeah,
the Grim Reaper cometh.
He's kind of under a rock, and I was gonna try to pick him up, and put him somewhere and ease his transition out of this world to the nether world.
This is gonna sound insane, but fish that have been pretty important to me or long lived or whatever, I have actually, when they passed away, I've made on my barbecue grill, did like a Viking funeral pyre for several of them.
That's very cool.
To speed them along to Fish Valhalla, which actually exists.
So I was saying that I was going to try to catch him out, but I know if I try to catch him out, I'm just going to stress him.
Oh yeah.
And but I expect him to be dead in a few days or a day. The poor guy. If he presents somewhere I can catch him, I'll catch him out.
And here's a little learning lesson. Like in my client tanks, this is why I'll use, and not a giant number of any given thing, but a lot of biodiversity.
Yeah.
And, a couple cleaner shrimp, a coral banded shrimp, a couple serpent starfish, Nacerius snails, some urchins. I know you don't like hermit crabs, but maybe just like a little handful, like a Halloween crab or a blue knuckle crab. Maybe one or two blues and maybe a scarlet. Stuff like this, because so when stuff dies off in the rocks, and I'm just like you, like I'm not going to, I see the forest for the trees. I'm not going to destroy my reef to try to get something. But if I can get to it, cool, I will. Otherwise, I want that stuff I just named off to go in there and sort of handle that.
Yeah, I really don't give a second thought if a fish has passed in my tank. Has passed? Why am I scared to say the word dead?
Transitioned.
A big fish like that might float in a day or two after it's dead and you can pull it out. But otherwise, I have never seen, people freak out about get that dead thing out before it ruins everything. It's like, it's just a couple of big meals, really.
I mean, it depends on your tank, right? Like in an established reef tank like yours, I mean, I've seen it happen before, and you'll get like a little pulse of some nuisance algae or whatnot. But I mean, if and certainly if your tank is like relatively new, it can't be good.
That's true. That's a good clarification on my laissez-faire, blasé attitude
Devil
about
may
death.
cry.
Devil may cry, devil may cheer.
Devil may giggle.
So that's what happens when you have fish for a long time. I haven't looked up when I got that fish, and I'm seeing, people online saying, oh, a big fish like that should live for 30 years, which is
I don't know
totally
about
pulled out of their ass.
Yeah.
And then I saw one report that like the longest one in captivity was for 9 years.
Okay.
And this
You
one
got
was
at least
wild
that.
caught. This one was wild caught.
Oh, wow.
So I got it when it was relatively large. And I have to have had it for 10 years at least.
So it could be up to 15 years old.
Yeah, that's an old fish.
Which is funny, man, thinking about how, when you say a capped or a wild caught marine betta, like, if you've had one before, it's like, how in the hell do they catch those in the wild?
Yeah.
Because they just don't present themselves like to be caught.
Rotenone or probably cyanide in the past. Oh yeah, because how do you find them? And
Throw
now
a firecracker at their face.
Now they're captive bred, right?
Yeah.
So so we'll see if I get another pair or not.
Yeah, but you don't name your fish. I'm just saying 3 cheers for that fish. Hip hip hooray!
Hooray!
Hip hip hooray!
Hooray!
Hip hip hooray!
Hooray!
I mean, I was around a 17-year-old Parahecantharus hepatus, yellowtail blue tang.
Yeah.
17 years old. The dude still had his receipt. It was very faded, and we had a hard time reading it. But I took it home and I gave it a funeral pyre because I was like, man, a 17-year-old fish. It felt weird because he's like, hey, I think, the old guy's dying. And I pulled him out and I was like, it just felt stupid to throw him in the trash.
Yeah.
Like, I've done it before too. I'm an avid gardener. So like in my mind, I get the circle of life thing. So if I have some special fish, I'll sort of put it under a plant that I'm eating. So I'm like, you have nourished me, I don't know. Is that like a hippie thing?
This is a blessing to Crom in his mountain.
Yes. Good for Crom.
Contemplate that on the tree of woe.
Yeah. As crows peck out your eyeballs.
And you eat a vulture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to think about if I want to replace that marine beta with another one. It's like an opportunity to do something different, but it's such a cool fish. And my Vanderbilt's chromis I had for a long time too recently, and they're gone. And I just bought 3 more.
Oh wow.
Because they're kind of cool.
What color is the Vanderbilt?
They're like striped.
Okay.
They're like dark with like yellow or green or something. I don't know.
Okay.
What color are they? I don't know.
That's right. Do they have sugar on them? Sorry, Richard's colorblind and I'm a type 2 diabetic, so we poke fun at each other all the time.
I have poor color perception, and Ben loves candy corn.
Not. Commercials. Hey, Richard.
Yeah, Benjamin.
Is this place online where I can order anything I want for the saltwater aquarium?
On the internet?
On the internet.
Yeah.
It is the saltwateraquarium.com, no?
No, is that an app that you can use when you're on the toilet?
Yeah, or when you're in the bed.
Or on the bus?
Or at an art gallery.
Or at the movies?
I always like to order my supplies at the movies.
What kind of supplies? Well, the credits are so long.
Yeah.
What kind of supplies and why do you like this company?
It is the skimmers, it is the lighting, it is the food, it is the chemicals. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been using them for a long time, yeah?
Yeah, since the beginning. And they have 3 locations across the United States.
Well, that's where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we are in Germany, we would be using a German company.
Yeah.
So they have 3 locations of where they ship things from. So if ostensibly, if that happens, it would come quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah. So check them out. You can use the link below. or check them out at saltwateraquarium.com. Yeah.
Yeah. Commercials.
Let's see. Let's talk about your stuff about early stage reefs. No, I'm gonna do my beef right now. Is
Oh,
that
okay.
okay
Just
with you?
change it right in front of everybody.
Right in front of everyone, because I think my beef is important.
Oh, that means
Vincent,
mine isn't.
Vincent, who used to work for Neptune Systems, died a few years ago.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
R.I.P.
And see, make your fucking jokes.
Yeah.
And he like all of us. So there's several things here. The beef is if you go to a place where a reefer's widow or widower is selling all the reef stuff, don't be a fucking vulture and try to get the best price ever. You know, this is someone who's
Boy,
part of your someone
if
who's
that's not fucking niche, I don't know what is.
someone who's part of your community, and you're trying to like get a doubly good deal rather than just the good deal, or you know, a quadruply good deal.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
and not to
don't be a
turn this,
dick.
not
Just
to
don't.
turn it into a funny, but it's a sort of that meme too. Like when I die, my wife's gonna sell my fish stuff for what I told her I paid for
Right.
it. You
Yeah.
know?
This wasn't it. They need to get rid of all the stuff. They sent a whole lot of it to the Pratt Reef Club. They got, you know, but there was a bunch of stuff. I got a new Vertex calcium reactor and a bunch
And
of
you,
Apex.
because you're an honorable person, you double paid for it.
I paid more than she asked.
Awesome.
Um,
I don't think
and
most people are gonna do that, right?
no, that, but you don't. I don't. Just don't be a vulture. Picking over the, a guy had like a bunch of Apex stuff. First of all, she told me to come and pick up all the Apex stuff because she didn't know if it worked or not. So I was picking all of that up, and there's a guy's like, I want some of that. And then he's like going, what do I plug this into? It's like, well, why do you fucking want this? Right. And then he goes and she says it's this much, and he says that he counters, right? And then he wants something else, and he says, okay, and he pays her. And then he wants something else. And he really lowballs it. And she goes, I just gave you such a good deal on all that other stuff. And it was just like, it just struck me as so It's
Douchey.
just gross. It's not, I understand if you're just rolling up on some garage sale and you're just talking to somebody, but this is, all the people who were there buying stuff knew Vincent. So it wasn't just like, it's just kind of gross, in my opinion. That's just my beef. Don't be a
But
dick to people
but
who
and
you know who died.
I would also say, right, like this different context when you're there and you know the person and you don't. I mean, douchey behavior is douchey behavior, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't like bargaining hardcore anyway, but bargaining with a guy who's part of the reef community that you're in and has been good to it for a long time, and he's gone, and she needs to move because he's the breadwinner and all that kind of crap. It's just like, don't just yeah. I've said it
that's
in
one
my
of those things where she should have not okay, let me stop. Not she should have anything, but if you're gonna have a sale like that, to keep that inside of the community, maybe because the
no.
people that don't care are gonna kick your tires.
That's my point. These were people inside the community
Yeah.
vulturing. I said,
Even the person asking about the Apex,
yeah,
part of me
yes,
wants to say, shame him.
right. Well, that's the thing. It was like, ew. But
Give you $10.
that's just that's exactly what it was. That's just my beef. So I don't like that. And the other part of it, I was actually there with Fugazi.
I love that band.
Yeah, well, this is Terrence Fugazi. So
Oh,
it's
not Ian Mackay.
little different.
Yeah.
And we were both looking at all the stuff and going, oh man, we better. Not only was it like, here's the story of this guy's life laid out, right? You could see, when he was, he did road biking, and then fish, and then, gun stuff, and then car tools, and, he just, all his hobbies laid out. But it was like, oh shit. And I've been meaning to bring this up on the show. What's your plan if you die for all your reef shit?
You're dead. My wife would shovel it out the door.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing. Like, I think it probably, I don't care how old you are, right? You could croak at any second. But it might be a very good idea to just write up something that you put somewhere on the tank that says, if I die,
A
and
will
then,
for your tank.
and then it just says, call these people and
Oh, that's true.
tell them that I'm dead and to please come and get everything out of here as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Or you could turn it into a prank and put the wrong number for your
I'm gonna put
significant other. If you want to prank from the grave,
I'm gonna put Mark Callahan's number, and then
yes.
he'll charge my widow.
Yeah, Marco's like, what? Okay, look, I'll do this
No,
on consignment.
Joey DIY.
Yeah, Joey will go, do you know who I am?
I'm gonna fight you, widow.
You want to fight? Fight a widow.
It also is like that. I should go through all the Reef shit and get rid of all this, the bucket of 15-year-old MP10s. Those could probably go.
I'm sure like a spouse would look at something like that and said, yeah, that's trash.
No, well, they might look at it and go, wow, someone could use that because they don't know. And so they feel bad about throwing all the stuff away. Right.
Maybe.
And then people come over and they go, oh, that's trash. And that's not what your widow needs or your widow.
Well, I was going to say maybe Libby because she's so emotionally intelligent. But I think a lot of people, when they're grieving and they're like, wow, someone could use those pieces of maxi jet pumps as they're grieving your loss.
They don't know it's pieces.
Yeah.
Look, not everyone's from Texas and has no heart like your family.
We are evil.
We are evil. Okay, so that was my beef. Don't be a vulture.
Commercials. Champion Lighting and Supply.
Champion Lighting and Supply.
Champion Lighting and Supply.
Champion Lighting and Supply.
Richard, we like Champion Lighting and Supply.
Yes, we do like Champion Lighting and Supply.
Do you know why we like Champion Lighting and Supply?
I like Champion Lighting and Supply because I like Todd.
I like their packaging materials.
What packaging materials do they use, Ben?
It is recycled cardboard that they run through a machine, and it is very earth-friendly.
So they do not use any packing peanuts or plastics if they can avoid it?
Not at all. They are friendly to the earth.
That is good because we live on the earth.
Yes, let's not destroy. Let's not shit where we eat.
Champion Lighting and Supply. Don't shit where you eat.
Commercials.
And now you want to talk about what do you want to talk about in early stage reefs?
Well, let me just read my little paragraph.
Okay.
Wow, I've waited so long for you to give me affirmation to do what the hell I want to do. It's painful.
To read is the funniest thing. Why don't you just say it?
Well, because it's right here. Okay. Dip it. Chasing Down Epidemics in Early Stage Reefs.
By Ben Johnson.
By Ben Johnson. Signed.
2nd grade.
Yeah. Dear audience. No.
Miss Jacobson.
Miss Jacob, there's a book report. When you don't know what you are doing, you tend to go heavy-handed with your things and cause other problems. Algae, red planaria, aptasia diatoms. You got to do regular maintenance. You got to do water changes. Early detection of these things are helpful to avoid a plague situation. These things are also hurdles that can get hobbyists to quit out of frustration. They can be easily avoided by regular maintenance and early detection with action.
As a great man once said, it's not all about sitting back and enjoying what you've made, but coming in closer and being on the lookout for things that will derail you.
Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Did you copy this out of a FAMA?
No, it's AI. I said AI. What is Ben gonna say next? And that's
okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's just. I think people. Okay, here's my synopsis. This is the real me. People think that you make like a reflex what's behind you, and then you sit back and go on autopilot. But I'm saying it's not about, your tank looks like you behind you and people come over and then you're shitting on your own tank because you're like, oh, but there's an aptasia here and there's this. I'm trying to get rid of these diatoms, and people are looking at you like, dude, your tank looks great and you're only focused on the negative. I mean, so that's far the other coin, but I mean, you realize where someone has a tank like what Richard has behind him, like a lot of his thoughts are sometimes, it's not being negative, but they're geared towards, shoring up what isn't perfect. Not like anyone's trying to chase down a perfect tank. It doesn't exist, but we're looking for the things that could derail the whole thing. And that's really the only way your tank is going to get to look like that, you, it's not, oh, there's Aptasia, gonna do something about it in 2 years. It's you identify things and try to do something about it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's I'm thinking a lot about this. We'll talk about it maybe in a minute, but it's your tank, right? And there's always something to be done on your tank. The dishes are never done on your tank. They're never set and forget. And you need to enjoy your tank for what it is. And if you're not doing that, you're doing something wrong,
But too much kicking your feet up is going to derail your tank.
Right. Yeah, it's that balance between benign neglect and overwork.
But let me interject this real quick. And through my whole career, there's been all these times where I've seen a decent tank and someone's like, man, it's great. And yeah, I haven't done much to it at all in like 2 months. And it always bugs me in the back of my head because here is me who's been doing this for a long time. And it's like, if you carry that attitude, it will not look like this anymore. So yeah, that's cool. It's sort of ran itself well for 2 months, but you got to start doing maintenance again because
Yeah.
I mean, what you're like, oh, I changed oil in my car and like, damn, it's running good. So fuck it. I'm not changing oil anymore until it runs badly.
Yeah. It's you can ignore it for only so long. And then if you ignore it for too long, then the task becomes Herculean and Sisyphusian, and you don't want to do it.
Wow. Look at you.
Oh,
Greek.
I know words.
So you know words. There you
I
go.
know Greek. I know Greek stuff.
No, I think our audience is smart, but some people are now Googling Sisyphusian and
Hercules was big, strong dude. And Sisyphus was also another big, strong dude.
pushing up a boulder. When does it end?
Never. Atlassian with the world on your
Atlas
back.
shrugged.
I'll meet you in the Rockies.
Yeah.
It's because I've done that even, and when I depressed, if you leave it too long, then it's like you've got so much to do. And then you got to convince yourself to just start doing, something.
I think it's okay when you're catching your breath, but but some of these people I've talked to, it's like, not that they've said it, but it's like, man, look, this tank is doing great. I've barely done much to it in 2 months, and I'm going to keep doing that shit. No, it's fine. Like, man, my uncle just passed away. We had this. The tank's sort of taking care of itself, but I'm going to get back in there and start doing water changes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Because I'll watch my tank. I won't clean the glass for months, right? Because it's kind of interesting to watch how it actually becomes viewable.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when I clean it, it's like, oh, this is better. But I'm not ignoring everything. And in fact, when you ignore everything, bad things happen. I had another, we talked an episode or two ago about the dose pump that went bad. The head was clogged. I had another one was clogged on this little cube tank I have over here. And it wasn't, and I caught it before it became a real problem. So, regular maintenance on stuff is a thing, and you're just asking for disaster if you don't pay attention. And I think maybe, are you worried about this, that when people go, I haven't done anything, I'm just going to keep doing that, it's that they actually don't know what to be looking for as
sure. Or they think that the goal is eventually they're going to get a reef tank or whatever aquarium to just like, man, I could not even be here and it will be awesome. Because I can tell you, like, if I've ever come back in contact with them like a year later, something like that, and people are like, oh yeah, that tank crashed. I'm like, well, no shit.
Right. Well, it's that's interesting. That's the worst placeholder ever. That's interesting. I do think, you said before, people aren't chasing perfect tank. I think everyone is chasing a perfect tank. Not everyone. Yeah. I think a lot of people, and the perfect is almost always the enemy of the good. It's definitely the enemy of joy. But if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't really have a feel for what could be going bad and you're just laying back, that's like, how long can you keep your hands off the steering wheel?
Yeah, I mean, sure, you could do it for a little bit, but when you hit the telephone pole, that's an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Contemplate that upon the tree of woe.
Yes.
Crucify him.
Shrug that, Atlas. Commercials.
PolypLab! We love PolypLab at Reef Beef. PolypLab powers this episode. We're so excited and happy to have them continuing to support our show. Ben, what products do you like from PolypLab? I really love their PolypLab glue grenade bomb with the super glue. I like the little gluelets, and I glue up frags and glue up things in people's tanks, and I love it. Why do you like the gluelets so much? What's the deal? Well, because when I get a larger amount of glue, I always muck up the end. So I just like how I can use the little gluelets and move on to a new one. That's my favorite glue to use. I also like that the gluelet bomb grenade comes in a little box that's not made of cardboard. So they're always in the same place and they're easy to get at. Very good. PolypLab, we love that you power us. We love your polyps and your lab. I'm glad that you have polyps in your lab. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Commercials.
What you were just talking about is interesting. I was invited to go to the Fragsgiving in Boston on November 9th and give a talk. And I'll also probably go a little early and give a talk at Pratt University in New York, because that'll be fun. But I decided I'm going to do a new talk about my method.
Oh my God. Can it be called, is it the algae thing?
No, about my, Rich's Reef method.
Oh, you're just your thing in its entirety.
My reef keeping philosophy. I don't know what to call it yet. So if you have an idea of what I should call my method, let us know down in the comments.
Every time I think about you, I think of like mad scientist.
The mad scientist method?
Yes.
The simple complicated method. The
neglect.
The most complicated, the most complex simple method. No, I think maybe it's just Rich's reefing method, RRM.
Rich's easy hard.
Easy hard.
Hard easy.
How to make something simple ridiculous.
Yes.
But so I've been thinking a lot about that kind of thing and how to explain it. And
no one has a wife like you, though.
What do you mean? No, well, there's first of all, there's the theory of what I'm doing that underlays everything. That's underlaid pretty much every tank with some changes over the years, right? And then there's the ridiculousness of how my system is set up.
Yeah.
But I want to talk, and then just go through and like go, what do I do about alkalinity? And why am I doing this thing? And some of the whys will be, why are you adding trace elements? Because I'm hedging my bets here, and it's cheap and makes me feel good. Why are you doing the flow? Because I think flow is super critical. So I spend lots of time and effort on flow,
and not to get in the weeds, but that first thing you said, it makes me think, because I take like a multivitamin, but I read articles that say like, eat varied foods. And I'm like, well, I still take a multivitamin. Why? Because maybe it's giving me enough thiamine or some shit like that.
Thiamine or thiamine.
Yeah. Maybe I'm missing something. And as long, like just with my health, as long as something weird, but with your tank, like you add trace elements and you're like, I think I'm doing something. As long as you don't see anything weird, like you could be argued you're wasting money.
Yeah. So I'll just go through everything, what's my pH? What do I think about pH? What is this? What,
man, that could easily be like 2 hours.
How do you start a tank? You know, and it's starting with what's your goal, which I think nobody talks about. But then, like we talk about on the show, rock that's seasoned and, just all that kind of stuff. I think it'll be interesting. And then it'll be a book that no one will buy. And then I'll,
make it
then I'll live on the street outside of your house in a box.
with a coffee. Someone, I'll come by, give you $1. You're like, holy shit, that's Richard. No, you guys don't understand. And then we have a whole thing where we clean the dirt off you and like cut, it's like cut your hair
snip,
back.
snip, 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 snip.
And you've forgotten that you are you as well. You're like,
And then you put me in some new clothes.
yeah.
And you buy me a meal. And I eat my soup.
And I'm
then
there
you
with
put
a
me-
stick, and I'm like, do something.
And then you put me back in the fucking box.
Yeah. And it's just meant to be.
Oh no! And then the next morning you find me frozen and dead on the subway station.
Yeah, like Captain America.
Y- y-
And then
Yeah.
in 50 years, they'll unfreeze you.
I thought more it was Scrooge, but I like where you're going with this better.
Because I was also thinking that old issue where the Human Torch found, the Human Torch and Namor found Captain America, and then the Human Torch used his fire to like give Captain America like a trim his beard.
And the Human Torch and Captain America are the same actor now. So,
Yes.
So that's weird.
And the Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Sorry, that's from Anchorman.
Yeah, this is totally what it's like after a show.
It
We
sort
have
of
no
is, to
idea
be
what's
honest
going on.
with you.
It totally is. So anyway, what do you think my method should be called? Let me know.
Amalgamation.
And it should be TM because I should make thousands of dollars off
Yes.
my method.
Help me make myself money. Commercials.
Hey, beefers.
Hey, beavers.
Hey, oh yeah, let's do it like that. Hey, beefers.
Let's get in close, guys.
Yeah, come on,
Guys
close.
and gals.
Put your
and
ear,
non-binaries.
put your ear right up to the screen.
You know, we have these voices that are like butter melting off of a stack of pancakes.
Yeah, syrup running down the side of French toast.
Yes.
Salt and pepper going on to eggs.
Bacon just mixing in.
Yeah, the crispiest, perfectest bacon and voice ever.
Speaking of crispy and speaking of bacon, you beefers out there, and you new to us, you're like, what the hell's a beefer? A beefer is someone who has watched so many of our shows that they have literally become a piece of beef.
That's right. And we appreciate the crap out of you guys so much. Guys is a non-gendered word for us. It's just a placeholder. You people, we dig you people so much, and we thank you for your support. And check us out. We got merch if you're into merch. We've got a special section of the Discord if you become a member where special things happen.
We have if you just want to throw money at us, which we always love because we're basically the Chippendales of the reefing world.
That's right.
We have like the buy us a coffee or buy us a beer, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
You can find that on our website. Now I feel like I'm doing NPR.
You are. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
If you want to see Ben without a shirt on an episode, that's apparently just you've learned so much in 122 episodes.
Yes.
But,
can't show your nipples.
If you become a member, the odds of Ben having a shirt off on a show go way up. But really, what all this is about is thank you for your support. We do this show mostly for us, but we do like you guys a lot.
It's a vanity project.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for people listening, we wouldn't be doing this show. So we
maybe would,
so much.
But it wouldn't be as funny.
Yeah, and we certainly dig the community that's popped up around the show, and we're looking forward to seeing you all at Reef Stock and on the Discord. So thank you so much for your support, and reach out to us if there's anything we can do for you.
Commercials.
There's lots of changes going on at the house.
Oh, Lord.
So I spent all week building stuff in the back.
With 2x4s?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll talk for a second here.
You got it, brother. Wow.
Okay, so that's a 12 by 12 deck we built in the back. It's a patio
cool.
deck, right? And then that's what it looks like towards the house.
Hey, I like it.
Thanks. And we put a roof on the thing over the bathtub. That's Carson at Aquatic Collection
It's so candy.
with free candy. That's my Caliplease apps. So this, let's see, what's the best way to do this? Oh yeah, that's the pond. We're decking over the pond. By the way, pond liners, best thing ever. I had an old trough that I was using for the pond, and that's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And I threw a pond liner in it, and now it's awesome again.
Wait, did you get rid of the chicken coop?
No, the chicken coop is on the far side
Okay.
of that structure. So here's the inside of the living room. Those 4 windows are going to become sliding doors.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and we're gonna put a deck. That's the windows from the outside. We're gonna put a deck, a raised deck up there.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And that thing on the right there is a chicken catio that's coming down. The catio is actually going to go on that deck right there. And I'll build
Well,
a
what's going
tunnel.
on with the pond?
The pond, that's just, the wood is just there. The pond's going to be cut out of that decking.
Okay.
So two things. So what am I supposed to say?
Are you doing this or you're having it done?
I'm doing it with another guy because it makes it go much faster if I help.
Sounds like a Diddy party.
This is, oh my God, so much baby oil. This is the tank. This is how we get out to the backyard now. It's that stairwell, right?
Honestly,
And-
the picture's really cool. It's a real dichotomy of like on the left is blue and cool, and on the right is warm colors. I like it.
That's how we do it.
It's yin and yang.
That area back there, the stairwell can become an aquarium
Oh, crazy.
because we're putting those new doors in.
Okay.
This wall,
Okay.
the wall with those pictures on it right there, the stairwell's behind it.
Okay.
So we can cut a giant hole in that wall and put a tank in there.
Wow.
And actually it can be seen from the side too. We can cut a hole in the other side wall.
Was your plan to have 2 aquariums, or are you eventually going to take that one down?
That was my wife's idea, actually. And we thought we weren't going to be able to put, when she came up with the idea of putting the doors on and the deck on, she said, oh, and you could put a tank there now. We'll cut a big hole in the wall. It's like she doesn't care. It's like it makes the house so we have to do work when we need to, if we ever sell it. But
yeah,
we live in the house, so whatever. The question then becomes, what kind of tank to do there? You know, do I do just a regular tank, or do I do, a tank with a planted, a reef with planted above it? Do I do a wave tank? Do I do a big tank or not such a big tank? So there's a bunch of questions. So if anyone has, I could do mangroves, but mangroves they're okay. You know what I mean? But they're not visually exciting.
it takes forever.
Do I do, plants above it, like a Palauan thing with like bog plants up there and it rains on them, and then do birds in, some little birds in there, or chameleon in there above the reef? There's all kind. I could do anything.
That brings up a bunch of weird questions. Like if a bird poops in the water, like, is that type of nitrogen okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't care.
I have one request.
Yeah.
Steel stand.
Absolutely. Or it'll be like out of 4x4s or 8x8s.
That's true, because
Pressure treated.
Filtration will not be located directly underneath it. So that doesn't matter.
They're really not going to get wet.
So if you overbuilt it with like weatherproof, proof 2x4 whatevers. Yeah, okay. I concede. Just put a lot of thought into the stand, the structural integrity of it.
Absolutely. And so the idea with the 2 tanks is build a new tank, whatever it's going to end up being. Everything from the current tank just moves over there.
Oh,
right.
But dude, as the head of the Fans of Richard's Tank, as the CEO, I just can't imagine moving that thing.
No, just the animals.
I know, but it's also weird if you know your tank real well, because it's just not that easy. It's not easy on corals on corals.
It's not easy at all. It's going to be a horror show, but it'll be okay.
Okay.
Thank you. But I think that tank, if it's going to stay, it needs to be rehabbed. That stand has got to go, right?
Oh yeah.
So
we did good. And
we did good, but that stand is, it's just asking for it. It really,
the second you take it off, it's just going to turn into powder.
Yeah, it's not fantastic.
Man, and Richard, I know you don't want to talk about this, but real quick, there's no way it doesn't bug me that your aquarium itself is like old enough to buy beer or older.
Oh no, yeah, the tank is. The tank has been set up in this house for almost 22 years.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
said you bought it used.
Yeah. So, or so rehab that and maybe make that tank bigger, you know, the same kind of overall dimension, side to side, but front to back, it's 24 now. It's 5 foot by 2 by 2. And so we'll make it like 5 by 30 inches tall or 28 inches tall by 3 or 4 feet deep.
I don't know who
Or,
you want to use, but like Planet makes really good.
yeah,
glass
I haven't
aquariums.
decided any of that yet. Or we just leave it like it is and I make it a Ranchu goldfish tank.
You're shooting close to my heart right there.
No, that's my heart too. I think I would be willing to risk just Ranchus in that tank for another 10 years with the stand that it has.
It is. I have a client that has, there's nothing in it, just black gravel,
Yeah.
black everything, no decorations, and there's just $500 Ranchus like floating around.
Yeah. I think it's also funny to put Ranchus in the tank that's been a fucking my favorite thing in the world for 20 years.
Because it's incredibly like simplistic versus incredibly complicated.
Well, and if I did that, ooh, that's interesting. Make the Ranchu tank planted above it because it's freshwater, be easier to enclose maybe. And there's all kinds of height and chameleon. And I could put a chameleon in there above the Ranchus without worrying about it falling into salt water.
That might be way more appropriate. Did we just come up with an idea on
kind of, yeah,
camera?
I also want to hear anybody else who's got interesting ideas or off the beaten path ideas. Matt Wandell was over and we were talking about it the other day. And, you know, we talked about the tank that's going in the wall being a drop-off tank with wave action coming up to the shallow side.
Yeah.
Because that would be fun. But we were also talking about what's this for? You know, am I trying just to do a tank that people are going to think is cool? And I said, well, it's my tank, so I've got to think it's cool. But I am looking for any out of the box kind of ideas. You know, we could do anything. The space where the tank will be. Ooh, cuttlefish are mating.
Right in front of you?
Or they're trying to.
It's pornographic.
Unless it's 2 males, which would be a bummer. Not because I care about their lifestyle, but it'd be great to get eggs.
Yeah.
The tank outside, you know, we'll make the roof come across so it's kind of closed in and we'll frame off some kind of door.
So it'll be a little bit open to the elements?
Yeah, it'll end up being kind of like the crawl space in the house. You know, it'll be like that. Rain won't get into it or anything like that. Okay. But I'm not going to insulate it or anything like that. It's just, it doesn't get cold enough for me to worry about that. So
there's always have to remember how stable San Fran is.
Yeah. Well, our area too. You know, and I'll put an exhaust fan that goes both directions, you know, so if it gets too hot, it vents, and we're going to want it to vent all the time anyway. Yeah. But there's a ton of headspace. So yeah, if you can think of anything insane and cool that I should do, no monkeys. We're not getting a monkey.
What?
Let us know down below or in the Discord, because I don't know when this is going to happen. You know, we're the deck and the door should be put in the next month, depending on when we can get the door.
So when I come visit next, it was probably going to be like your house is going to look different.
Yes. Yeah. Nice. Because putting the doors in, we're going to open up the wall on Monday. That's tomorrow, and see what we can actually do. It looks like we can buy off the shelf sliding doors or quasi off the shelf sliding doors. And then it's like just a day to get each of them in. And then the deck will take a week. Yeah. So that's pretty quick. And then we got to live with the living room for a while and see how that change is going to make the living room. Right. And then we'll start getting serious about thinking about making this thing happen.
But that makes sense, though. You're not putting the cart before the horse. So you're like doing the changes to the houses first and sort of gelling with that.
Yeah.
And then when you feel good about that, then you're like, let's move on with the aquarium thing.
Yeah. Because as much as I love my reef, I've always said I would love to take that reef and put it in a tank that was 6 inches longer and 20 inches deeper and just leave it exactly the same, you know?
This is
But
going to be weird because, I mean, obviously you do side projects and stuff like that, but I'm just saying with your own home tank, you're going to go through not some uglies, but for like at least a year, you're going to go through some stuff having moved that over.
oh, of course. Well, yeah. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
And also spawning is coming up, so I need to get the system, the rack in the back ready to go. I just need to run like 30 feet of 1.5 inches and 2 runs of 3/4 to get all that tubing off the ground and stuff, and back to the sump. And I gotta get a hold of Todd because I need some canister filter thing. So I gotta, as soon as hopefully this month, I'll start doing that in earnest. Yeah, so that's what's going on in the house, and it's a lot of stuff. It's been really cool.
Be honest.
What?
Are you excited?
Yeah. Oh, there's one more thing I gotta tell you. The new brain is loving all this.
Dude, I love it.
Because we're putting the deck on there, we'll make it a little more annoying to get under the house.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
So I've ordered a couple of metal cabinets to go on the other side of the house where there's just like a 16-inch workbench.
Yeah.
And they'll go against the house there. And in there, the sump is on the wall right on the other side of that. In there will go the RO, DI. I don't have any RO, the DI stuff, the carbon filters, right? Because now I open that door under the house and that stuff's all accessible. I can just stand there. And if I have to crawl under something to take those off, I'll lose my mind. So I'm going to put that all in these cabinets. So it's at workable height. So it's easy. And I will probably end up moving all of the doses out there as well, because why should the doses be anywhere else? Right.
No, so I see what you're saying is extract the things that you could be messing with often and make them more accessible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I realized that I could probably put all the electrical in there too.
Uh-huh.
All the
Beeboo Bobbo Bebop.
All the Beeboo Bobbo Bebop, all the Apex stuff, to get it all away from the water.
Well, yeah. And just like I would sit there and think about what things do I have to like change out or troubleshoot or change hoses.
I could even move the calcium reactor and the protein skimmer out there.
Wow, that's crazy.
But we're going to do it. I wrote about this on the Discord too. And some people are like, oh, metal, is that going to corrode? It's like, yeah, but these are kind of cheap and it's really, proof of concept. We'll see how it goes. If we need to I'll build something for it out of wood, or am I building like essentially a hutch on the side, but it can only be like 15 inches deep.
That's almost like that client that I have that has that hutch on the side of their house.
Exactly. And I'm getting rid of my chiller. So
really? Does it ever come on?
I don't know, but I've got the air conditioners in the house now.
Oh, don't you have that split thing where it's
not split, they're just portable because we just don't get enough. We just don't get enough heat to spend, $20,000 on putting an air conditioner in the house.
Yeah.
Whereas if we spent, we bought 3 mobile air conditioner units and cut holes in the houses to vent them out. They keep the lab cold. They keep the living room cold, and that's going to do way more than the chiller's going to do. So chiller's out, which is great because I haven't really tracked when it comes on. So yeah, bunch of changes are coming.
Interesting. Change can be interesting.
So we'll see.
Life interesting.
Bunch of changes may be coming. Maybe
not. Put in the comments section. Give a name to Richard's changes. Just name everything. Richard's changing method.
Bobby Brady.
Changes.
Yeah.
What else we got, Richard?
That's it, baby.
Oh man.
That's it.
Come out of the machine.
And this episode is brought to you by
saltwateraquarium.com,
Champion Lighting and Supply,
and powered by PolypLab.
And remember, don't fight with an angle grinder because you're not going to win. This has been Reef Beef.
That's that should be Todd's new Champion Lighting Supply. Don't shit where you know he's gonna love that. Richard, do you remember
What the
this?
fuck is that?
Custom Sea Life. For remember they had badass chillers, and I think I remember that they had good lights too. But for a couple years, and it just shows you it's so fucking weird. They had this series of, and sort of Julian did too with Two Little Fishies. For a couple years, had these series of like ads and magazines that were like, nowadays this shit would not fly. That
Right,
was like,
it's like hot chicks and stuff.
yeah, and this one says, because it was a drop-in chiller where you don't plumb it. It says
Oh
it's
God,
as
drop it in,
easy
baby.
as it looks, and then showing a picture of this lady.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, holy fuck. And I mean, Custom Sea Life, I remember they went out of business. So that's what I was thinking. Like, when I got stuff like that, like, look at this, man. This shit would not fly nowadays.
Yeah, that's right, snowman.
Eat that, snowman.
It's okay. So I hope snowman leaves the stop sharing is bright red.
Yes.
I don't see bright red.
Oh,
So I'm looking at the screen. I don't see it. It just looks like my screen. But now I'll try to remember where it is. That is. Keep talking.
yeah. I'm just looking at you just disappearing from your green screen. So you're like dressed like a mummy, and I'm just scared.
Sorry,
But-
there's something was
That was
making noise.
impressive.
Oh, you should come here for Halloween, and you'll be Conan because you
I'll
kind
be-
of look
I'll
like
be-
him.
I'll be the Wish Conan.
No, from Conan the Barbarian.
No, like
From
the cheap one. I'm skinny, man.
Oh, that's fine. We'll get you the suit, and I
Yeah.
could be what is Jerry Lopez? What's the archer in that movie? He's got that weird name.
Oh, where he shoots the snake.
Yeah, it's Sisamunamahaha.
Exactly. Sisamunamaha.
But he's got that cool ass mustache
Oh yeah.
and
Like
the little soul patch.
handlebar with the yeah.
Oh, we should do a photo shoot where we just dress like that.
Let's do that. It doesn't have to be Halloween. And
On
what
the-
was oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue, and rest in peace, James Earl Jones. But I
Thulsa
always
Doom.
loved his name.
Thulsa Doom.
Thulsa Doom. That's right.
Fucking
I should.
crazy.
Do you know that I had therapy for 5 years because I was so pissed at my parents for not naming me Thulsa Doom. It was hard. It was hard to get over.
Welcome to 80s movies with Ben and Rich.
Yes. Well, we are.
We are from the 80s.
Yes.
Uh,
Richard, you froze and you turned lime green.
oh, that's amazing.
I like it.
Okay, let me see if I can fix that.
Unless that is the spirit of Cthulhu overtaking your body.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's what happens when you pray to the old ones.
There we go.
There you go. Okay. Apparently that wasn't an exorcism.
That's weird. Later.
Goodbye.
Contemplate that on the tree of woe. Ramen is Marlton.
The mountain of, or the, what is it of woe? The tree of woe?
The tree of woe. That's
Yeah.
the funniest thing ever.